Have you ever had that creeping sense that someone who's supposed to care about you, maybe even love you, carries something else beneath the surface? They smile when you succeed, but there's something in their eyes. Not quite right. Their words are soft, supportive, even loving. But when they leave the room, the air feels heavier, like something invisible was draining the life out of you. The truth is, not all enemies wear a mask of cruelty. The most dangerous ones wear a mask of love. They sit beside you, clap for you, celebrate with you, and yet, behind the applause, behind the smile, lies something colder. Philosophers through time have warned about the hidden self, the unspoken parts of our psyche that we repress, deny, or bury. It's not the darkness that screams, it's the one that whispers, and when people refuse to confront that buried part of themselves, jealousy, bitterness, fear, they don't eliminate it, they direct it toward someone else. Often toward you. Today, we're going to explore 8 subtle but powerful signs that someone close to you might secretly resent, or even hate you. These signs are quiet, subtle, easy to overlook, but once you learn to read them, you'll never look at your relationships the same way again. And stay with me, because the 8th sign, it's not about words, it's about presence, and it can't be faked. But first, understand this: awareness is protection. Most people only notice these patterns after the damage is done, after trust has eroded, after opportunities are lost. But by learning to see the signs early, you give yourself a chance to protect your peace, in your power. The compliment that cuts it sounds like support. You're really brave for wearing that. Wow, I wish I had time to chase my silly dreams too. It's laughter wrapped around a dagger, a compliment followed by something sharp. Passive aggression is their language. They don't attack you. They make you question yourself, and when you confront it, relax, I was just joking. They push the knife in with a smile, and when you flinch, they mock your pain. This isn't humor, it's hostility wearing a party hat. These kinds of people never address their frustration directly. Instead, they wrap their resentment in playful sarcasm. They'll call you dramatic, sensitive, but if the same joke is always about you, if it always leaves you feeling smaller, then it's not a joke, it's a warning. They're telling you who they are. The friend who always lets you down they forgot to tell you about the meeting. Gave you the wrong date. Gave you advice that turned out terribly. They always mean well, of course, but somehow, you're always the one who ends up blindsided, unprepared, left out. 1 mistake is life. 2 is chance, but 3, that's a pattern. Some people sabotage others not because they're malicious, but because your success threatens their sense of worth, and instead of growing, they quietly shrink you. It's not dramatic, it's subtle, but if someone constantly delays your progress while preserving their own comfort, you're not being supported, you're being stalled. The competition you never entered, you share good news, they change the subject. You hit a milestone, they remind you of theirs, you're happy, and suddenly they're withdrawn. This isn't coincidence, this is comparison. Some people can't celebrate you because your joy reminds them of what they lack. You are a mirror, and instead of being inspired, they feel exposed. They see your shine and feel it as shade. They can't help it. But it's not your job to dim your light for someone who refuses to build their own. Friendship is not a scoreboard, and if every victory turns into their performance, if your growth is met with their competition, you're not standing beside a supporter. You're standing next to a secret opponent. The emotionless owl. I pay close attention when you're at your lowest. Do they listen with presence or impatience? Do they truly see your pain, or dismiss it with a motivational quote? There's a kind of person who wants to be seen as good, but isn't willing to do the work of being good. They'll say the right things, but their energy is distant, their comfort is robotic, their words recycled. When you're truly suffering, you'll notice it. They're not with you, they're next to you. There's a difference. True care has depth. It's warm, grounded. You can feel it in your bones. If you sense emotional detachment instead, it might not be care. It might be duty, and that difference matters. Manipulation in the name of love, they say it's for your own good. They challenge your decisions, question your plans, discourage your risks, all because they care. But underneath the concern is a thirst for control. Some people don't feel secure unless they're managing everything, including you. And when they can't control their own fears, they try to control your choices. You'll hear it in their voice, see it in their reactions. When you take a path they didn't approve, their warmth cools, their mood shifts. Ask yourself, does their advice leave you feeling empowered or uncertain? True love supports. It doesn't suffocate. When your name changes without you, no one says anything, but the room feels different. People act colder. Interactions feel heavier. That's how you know your name has been in someone else's mouth. Some people resent you quietly, but they speak loudly when you're not around. They won't attack you directly, but they'll distort your words, twist your intentions, plant seeds of doubt in others. It's not confrontation, it's corrosion. It's subtle and it spreads. You'll feel it before you understand it. And when it happens, don't chase explanations. Don't beg to be believed. Real truth doesn't need defense. But reputation, once eroded, teaches you who to keep close and who to walk away from. The celebration that never comes, this one cuts the deepest. Because part of you wants them to be proud of you, wants their approval, but when the moment comes, when you finally succeed, they're silent, their eyes dull, their body stiffens, their words delayed or too polished. You feel it, don't you? When someone truly loves you, your success lifts them too. It lights their face, opens their heart. You feel their joy echoing yours, but when someone secretly resents you, your success burns them. Not because you harmed them, but because you remind them of everything they haven't done, and so they retreat, shrink, go quiet. That's not humility, that's inner chaos. The truth beyond words, this is the most invisible, yet most powerful sign. It's not what they say, it's not what they do, it's what they radiate. Energy doesn't lie. When someone harbors resentment, their body reveals what their mouth won't. The pause before a compliment, the forced laugh. The way their eyes scan you instead of look at you. It's not dramatic, but your nervous system notices the tension in your chest, the slight dread before you meet, the way you feel drained after. That's not paranoia. That's perception. You're feeling the emotional static of someone who doesn't wish you well but won't admit it. And the worst part, sometimes it's someone you love, someone you've let close. That's why it hurts. That's why it confuses you. But in that confusion, your intuition speaks. What to do when you see the signs, so now that you see the patterns, what should you do? 1. Observe, don't react. The goal isn't to fight. It's to see clearly. Keep your emotions steady and watch their behavior without letting it control you. 2. Guard your power, share less, reveal less. Not everyone deserves access to your dreams, your wounds, or your energy. 3. Let patterns expose truth. One mistake could be coincidence. Repetition is a message. Trust the message. 4. Redirect your energy. Pour into relationships that nourish you. Starve the ones that drain you. 5. Strengthen your own self-awareness. The more you understand your emotional landscape, the less control others have over it. Here's something rarely said aloud. Resentment is never just about you. When someone resents you, what they truly despise is the reflection you cast back at them, the version of themselves they're unwilling to face. Your presence stirs something unresolved inside them. That's why their discomfort grows in your light. Because your authenticity unsettles their performance. Your growth magnifies their stagnation. Your courage threatens their excuses. But here's the cruel paradox. These people are often the ones closest to you. Friends, siblings, lovers, mentors. That's why the betrayal stings. If it came from a stranger, you'd walk away without flinching. But when it comes from someone whose voice you've internalized, whose presence once felt like home, it shakes something deeper. Hidden resentment is one of the most destructive forces in human relationships because it wears a mask of civility. It doesn't explode, it erodes. It shows up in the everyday, the hesitations, the sighs, the passive-aggressive suggestions. It's not always a war you can fight. Sometimes it's a rut you have to outgrow. The inner war they're not facing. Let's pull back the curtain. Why would someone harbor resentment towards someone they claim to love? There are many reasons, but most of them aren't about you at all. They're about them. Sometimes it's envy. You remind them of the risks they were too afraid to take, the version of themselves they abandoned to play it safe. Every time you win, it scratches at the shame they've buried. They want to be happy for you, but they're still angry at themselves, and so the anger spills sideways. Other times it's control. Maybe they were the strong one, the guiding voice. But now you're rising, becoming independent, growing beyond the roles they boxed you into. That shift threatens their identity, because if you no longer need them, who are they? And sometimes it's simply fear. People fear change, And when you evolve, even in beautiful ways, it destabilizes the familiar dynamic. They don't know how to exist around this new version of you, so instead of adapting, they resist. Resentment becomes their defense mechanism. None of this justifies the behavior, but understanding it helps you stop taking it personally. Their resentment is a mirror of their own internal war. You're just the closest battlefield. How to stay grounded. When resentment strikes, you can't control how others feel about your success, your growth, your light. But you can control your response, and that response starts with awareness, not reaction. The most powerful thing you can do is observe without absorbing. When you notice someone's energy shift after you share good news, don't immediately question yourself. Question the dynamic. What does their discomfort reveal? What has been unspoken in this relationship for too long? Resentment wants you to shrink, to second guess, to downplay your joy, but your job is to hold your frequency steady. Let them wrestle with their emotions. That's their work, not yours. Set boundaries, not out of bitterness but out of clarity. Limit how much access they have to your vulnerability. Stop explaining your joy. Stop shrinking your dreams to preserve someone else's comfort. You're not here to be palatable. You're here to be real, and above all, do not try to fix them. That's the trap. You will never heal someone who uses their pain as an excuse to hurt others, especially not when you are the target of their unspoken rage. Growing through the grief of realization, realizing someone close resents you is a form of grief. Not the loud, dramatic grief we associate with loss, but a quiet, aching grief. It's the death of illusion. The moment you realize the version of them you held in your heart may never have truly existed. You remember the laughs, the shared memories, the moments of support, and maybe those moments were real. But resentment distorts reality. Over time, even good memories get recolored by what was hidden beneath them. It's okay to grieve that. It's okay to feel anger, confusion, betrayal. Allow yourself the space to feel it all. Because healing doesn't come from pretending it didn't happen. It comes from facing the truth with eyes open and choosing yourself anyway. Some people aren't meant to go where you're headed. That's not failure. That's evolution, and letting go doesn't always look like slamming doors. Sometimes it's just turning the volume down, detaching, moving quietly in a new direction, not out of spite, but out of wisdom. The role you played, and why that matters. Here's a harder truth. In many cases, we play a role in maintaining these toxic dynamics, not because we're weak, but because we're human. We crave connection. We ignore red flags. We downplay our intuition to keep the peace. We accept crumbs and call it loyalty, but clarity requires accountability. Ask yourself, where did I ignore my gut? Where did I tolerate mistreatment in the name of compassion? Where did I confuse manipulation for care? You're not to blame for their resentment, but you are responsible for your healing, and part of that healing is reclaiming your voice, your power, your standards. You're allowed to outgrow people, even if you love them, even if they raised you, married you, or once saved you. Growth doesn't make you ungrateful, it makes you alive. The hidden cost of staying too long, every moment you spend doubting yourself to accommodate someone else's silent resentment, is a moment stolen from your purpose. There is a real cost to emotional labor. And when that labor is unreciprocated, when you're constantly managing someone else's moods, jealousy, or discontent, it drains you. You start shrinking, you stop dreaming, you second guess your wins, you filter your joy. And slowly, you begin to forget who you were before. You felt guilty for simply existing. That's not a relationship, that's a trap. Sometimes the most radical act of self-love is walking away, not with anger, but with finality. Not to punish them, but to reclaim yourself. Because here's the truth. People who truly love you don't compete with you. They don't diminish you. They don't resent your evolution. They rise with you. The wisdom in the shadows. You learn more about people in your success than in your suffering. In your dark moments, everyone wants to appear kind. But when you shine, when you step into your power, that's when their true nature surfaces. Resentment strips away the performance. It shows you who's secure and who's secretly threatened, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. This is your gift, your awakening. Don't curse the resentment. Let it teach you. Let it clarify what was murky. Let it expose what was hidden. From that place of clarity, you build differently. You love more selectively. You stop chasing ghosts. You stop apologizing for the space you take up. And most importantly, you stop editing yourself to protect someone else's fragility. Your peace is not up for debate. No one gets to vote on your worth. No one gets to decide how brightly you shine. And no one has the right to weaponize their insecurities against your growth. Your peace is sacred. Your joy is sacred. And anyone who tries to dim that is showing you their soul. So let them. Let the passive-aggressive jokes reveal themselves. Let the half-hearted praise echo. Let the body language tell the truth words are trying to hide. You don't need proof to trust your perception. You don't need confrontation to make it real. You only need the courage to choose peace over performance. And the strength to walk away when love turns silent. Not everyone can follow. You weren't born to be tolerated. You were born to be celebrated. But not everyone will have the capacity to meet you where you're going. That's okay. Growth creates distance. Evolution demands it. And sometimes that means outgrowing people who were once your entire world. But you're not abandoning them. You're honoring the version of you that refuses to shrink anymore. So step forward with grace, with strength, with boundaries, with a heart open to real connection, not the illusion of it. Your life is too short to keep dancing with shadows. Let the light find you. Let the real ones rise. And let the rest fall away.